Awesome. Hi, everybody. Hi. My name is Vivek. I'm Vivek Goswami. I'm a program manager in Cortana team. And we have got engineering leaders from Cortana team here, Victoria and Danko here in the audience. I'm really glad to see you all here, walking miles and miles throughout this conference to be here. Being here when you had an option to be at Universal Studios. I'm glad you're here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Efrat Leker, a software engineer from Israel, working in Cortana team. I'm really excited to be here with all of you.
So I have some questions for you. Do you really enjoy your time filing expense report at work, or the time spent doing that whole workflow, or checking vacation balance, going to systems and figuring out how much time do I have left for this year? Or do you really want to spend your precious time, your valuable time, finding meeting rooms, scheduling meetings, or search for help desk articles, the sea of help desk articles that you have, to figure out what's wrong and how you can get it fixed? No, we don't. Because our time is precious. Our time is valuable. And our time is for things that are important, that matters to us. What if Cortana could help? What if Cortana could come in and you could just say, hey, Cortana, file my expense report. Or hey, Cortana, what is my vacation balance? Or hey, Cortana, just set up a meeting for me in this building. Find a conference room and schedule a meeting for me with this person. Or tell support that I'm having printer issues, so that you could just talk to technology with the way you talk to humans. There is this research, there is this industry and market research, which suggests that at least 40% of the people will interact with technology, which is people literate. So technology is going to be people literate, and 40% of the people are going to talk to this technology. It's not going to be the other way around, where we have to be computer literate. And technology has to learn how to talk to people, converse with them in natural language. 60% of the smartphone users are going to use personal assistants more than apps. Also, assistants are going to be ubiquitous to the users, helping them getting things done wherever they are, whatever they are doing. I just have one tech issue. So on this screen, I can't see the notes. Can you help with that? I can't see. I can just see slides on here. On this screen, I can't see the notes. OK. Meet Cortana. What if you could use the most powerful tool we as human beings use every day, language, to communicate with technology? With Cortana, we enable you to do what you're hardwired for as humans, use language to interact with technology. Cortana, as a personal intelligent assistant, helps you throughout your day, getting things done, knowing your routine, scheduling meetings for you, and knowing what matters to you the most. So far, Cortana has third-party skills as extensions. So Cortana has these great capabilities by itself, like email, calendar, meetings, reminders, tasks, alarms, timers, those kind of things. You can do them right out of the box. And so far, we have also added extensions or skills to Cortana in consumer space. So you can use things like Domino's, Fitbit, Expedia to order pizza, or to track your flights, or to track the number of steps that you took in a day. And you can do that in consumer space. But we are here about enterprise. So I'm thrilled to talk about the next step in this journey, where we bring Cortana Skills Kit to enterprises, helping organizations, helping people in those organizations do more with Cortana to complete more company-specific tasks. This Skills Kit is a dev platform which allows organizations and people within organizations to create Cortana skills, to empower people within those organizations to use these skills and to do more with Cortana in a more natural language-like way. It's not only a development platform. Development platform is part of the offering. It's an end-to-end management solution because we not only care about how you build skills, we care about how you can manage them, how you can deploy them, whether it's getting deployed to right people within the organizations or not, or whether can I control the deployment to entire organization. So it's an end-to-end management solution to build, to test, and to deploy these custom Cortana skills within an organization. Now we have a basal understanding of what the Skills Kit is and what it means for enterprises to be able to extend Cortana for their own workforce or for their own people. Let's take a quick look at building blocks of how this thing works. Like, what are the building blocks that make Cortana Skills Kit for enterprise? It leverages Azure Active Directory to ensure that skills are deployed to people within your organization, because all the account management and everything is tightly controlled by Azure Active Directory. So it relies on Azure Active Directory as one of the building blocks. It is powered by Azure Bot Service. So one of the fundamental pieces of Cortana Skills Kit, or the core pieces of Cortana Skills Kit, is an Azure Bot Service. You're creating a bot using Azure Bot Service. And that bot is then powered by logic using different APIs. They can be MS Graph APIs, Dynamic CRM APIs, your own internal company tools and APIs that you have, or any other third-party APIs that you might use for your own internal workflows. And it's fairly straightforward, because at the core of a skill, at the core of a Cortana skill is a bot. Built using Azure Bot Service, you are managing deployment and controlling deployment to people who can use this skill using Azure Active Directory. And then that bot logic can do n number of things, depending on which API or tools you have connected it to. So this is fairly just an architecture, very high-level architecture of how this thing works. We'll get into the details of how Cortana skills work and how within an organization they would work, what are the roles and stuff like that in a moment. So enterprise developers, how many developers do we have in the house? Yay, good number. I was not expecting you guys to raise your hands, because sometimes it happens, people are like, okay, I don't care. I'm a developer, and I know it. So how do these custom Cortana skills work? Enterprise developers like you and me, using our AAD, can build and deploy Cortana skills using Azure Bot Service. So what we essentially do is we go to Azure Bot Service, we create a bot, make a Cortana skill out of it. Once we are done building a Cortana skill, a solid Cortana skill that we know is well tested and is well built for my organization, I, as a developer, don't have the access rights to deploy it to my entire organization. And I shouldn't, right? Like, I should have access rights to deploy it to me, to a bunch of people within the organization. But I shouldn't be able to publish it to everybody within the organization, because then you can imagine a sea of bots and skills and randomly showing up in Cortana. You don't want that for an organization. You want a more cleaner way of adding Cortana skills. You want a more cleaner Cortana in your organization. So as a developer, I don't have those access rights. And that's cool. I can build, I can test, I can make sure that my skill is wonderful. And then I can submit it for review. And what does submitting for review means is that now I am taking my Cortana skill, I'm all ready with it, and I want to deploy it to the organization. I'll have to fill up a bunch of information about who I am, which team do I belong to, what does the skill do, what does it not do, what is it not meant for, what kind of people should be using it, and how can you reach out to me? How can you reach out to my team in case the skill stops working? Or what are the testing instructions for an IT admin to test this skill? Because there might be some special instructions. Sometimes you have to say, oh no, you should set up the authentication this way for the skill to work. Or, you know what, you should use this utterance for the skill to work. So those kind of extra information those kind of very important, not extra, very important information that I need to provide. How many IT admins do we have in the house? IT pros, IT admins? Yeah, good number. So IT admins, like folks here, would then go to this IT admin portal and can review all the skills that are submitted for deploying. So a developer couldn't deploy them. They would be like, okay, I'm going to submit it for review, and I'm going to hope that IT admin reviews it and approves it. IT admin can go to this portal, a specific portal, to review the skills and take actions on them, like provide comments or approve it, reject it, and those kind of things. And we'll get into the details of those. I just want to give you a wholesome view of how this whole thing works. IT admins, if they are satisfied with this whole thing, if you're on a happy path, then they can deploy it to the organization, to Cortana in their organization, to Cortana on Windows 10 in their organization. So that everybody within that organization can log in with their AAD accounts into Cortana and start using that skill. And converse with Cortana in a more natural way, in a way that we are all hardwired to use language. And that's a very powerful tool, because then you can totally work with technology and use technology to make yourself productive. So far what we have seen, just to have a quick recap, it's a bit new topic. For some of you, you might have already seen the consumer skills kit. So far what we have seen is that we have had consumer skills kit to build pizza skills or pizza ordering or food ordering skills or Fitbit or Expedia, those kind of stuff. Then we are evolving, and today what we are introducing today is an evolution into the enterprise world, where enterprises can now build their own custom in-house solutions, can build their own custom skills, and then deploy it to their organization and control. Now we understand it at an architecture, at a high level, we understand. Okay, you guys are using Azure Active Directory, I know that. You guys are using Azure Bot Service, it will talk to other services and APIs, I get all that. Let's get into the roles of who all will be involved in life cycle of a skill. So this solution is just not a dev platform, as I said before. It's an end-to-end solution for all stakeholders within the organization. You have enterprise developer. You have enterprise developer who can build these custom Cortana skills. People in the audience, people like me, can build these Cortana skills. They can leverage Microsoft technologies, majorly Azure Microsoft Bot Framework, Cognitive Services Toolkit for Lewis, and their own company internal tools. And they can test it with a group of AAD accounts. IT admins can then review these skills, all the skills. They have the whole control. They have the whole view of the skills that are submitted for that organization. They can control deployment of the skills to the organization. Enterprise users, how many users do we have in the house? All of us can then use these skills, can log into Cortana, use these skills very naturally, connect to them, authenticate to them, disconnect from them. So this solution is just not for a developer solution. It's a solution for most of the roles in an organization, from a developer to an IT admin to users. What we're going to do now is we have talked a bunch about how this whole thing works. We're going to have an actual dev experience of how this thing comes to practice. Like, how would we actually do it? And it's fairly simple. So Ifrit is going to show you a developer journey of how a developer would build a Cortana skill from a bot. We're going to switch to Ifrit's machine. And oh, you can see it now. Awesome.
So I sign in with my AAD account in the bot framework portal. So as you can see, this is my AAD account. And I already created and implemented my bot. And I can connect it to Cortana channel and make it a Cortana skill. So I have my support bot. And now I can connect it to Cortana channel. As you can see, I have the Cortana option.
Can we take a step back, go to bot?
Yeah. So here, this is the definition for self-deployment. I can define the display name, the invocation name, and so I can deploy it to myself in order to test it. After testing it, I want other team member to test it. So I go into the test group settings. Here, I can add other people from my team. So for an example, myself and Amy are working together, and I want her to test my skill. So I just add her username.
And it shows up there.
And now Amy can test my skill. It only allows me to add users from my organization, so it will not be exposed to outsider users. And hopefully, everything works well, and the next step is to fill up a deployment request for the IT admin to approve.
Let's take a moment to see what just happened. So Ifrit was on Azure bot service. She built a bot. And she built a bot using Azure bot service. There is this help desk bot. If you can see, it says help desk support bot that she built using Azure bot service, and she just connected it to Cortana channel. She had an option to connect it to Cortana channel, and when she went to the Cortana channel, it says, now you have a bot, we get it, configure the Cortana channel for the bot. And then she deployed it to herself, she deployed it to a group of users, and now she wants to deploy to everybody.
So I filled up the deployment request and sent it for the IT admin to approve. And now when the IT admin approves my skill, the entire organization can use it and have a nice daily work.
And this is the kind of information that we were talking about earlier that you need to add to your deployment request. If you want to submit your skill for review, you have to fill up what are the utterances for the skill, what does the skill do, what is the short description, what is the long description of the skill. You'll have to fill up information about what kind of the category of the skill this is. Is it a productivity skill? Is it, this one is productivity skill because it's a support skill. What is the subcategory of it? Which endpoint is it available on? So Ifrit's skill is available on Windows desktop.
Right.
It asked her to fill up the information about her. Who is she? And what is her email ID? How can they reach to her? Information about the address. Information about the support, contact, website URL for support, So there are larger, bigger organizations who have like small teams within those organizations doing n number of things. And you can imagine each team usually has a support DRI or support backup sort of URL or an email where you can just email and say, hey, you know what, your software is broken. So they would need to provide that here. And they will also need to provide terms of usage and privacy policy for their skill, because users care about these, and we care about this. Then, in the end, they're going to provide validation and testing instructions. And the reason they are providing these validation and testing instructions is to help IT admin who's reviewing these skills to see, hey, do I need to do anything special? Do I need to hook up an IoT with my machine? Am I expected to have a vending machine working with it? Am I expecting to have some sort of account set up, sales account set up before it? Like, what are those steps to make this thing functional? Because this is for real. IT admin is going to review it and test it, and can even delegate it to people to test it. So they need to have these validation and testing instructions, because you can imagine in an organization, there are hundreds of people who will be building these skills, and IT admin is not an SME in each of those areas. Those developers are. So once Ifrit has filled this form up, she can submit it for review. And when she's submitted for review as a developer, she's hoping that IT admin looks at it and can approve it. I'm going to switch to the presentation again and do a little switching dance. Oh, it's already there. Just to quickly recap, she logged into dev.botframework.com using her Azure AD account, not with any personal account, with an account provided by her enterprise, created a bot, connected it to Cortana channel, deployed it to herself to test it, deployed it to group of AD accounts, Amy, who worked in our organization. She cannot deploy to anybody outside of our organization. And then she submitted it for review, for publishing to tenant. So that was the whole developer journey. It's fairly straightforward once you have built a bot to create a Cortana skill and to add speech capabilities to it. Now, the next step, our next stakeholder, our next role comes in, which is IT admin. Now, if I am going to role play an IT admin now, and I'm going to see if that's support skill, submit it, and view it, and take actions on it. So we're going to switch another machine to the IT admin portal. And that is number 8. So this is the IT admin portal. It's fairly simple. We're getting just started with this whole thing, where we want to provide a solution for everybody. This is the very beginning of it, as you can see. It's a fairly simple portal. It allows me to log in with my AD account as an IT admin. It has already provisioned me as an IT admin. And so I have access to it, and nobody within an organization has access to it. Only IT admins have access to it with their AD, Azure AD account. And IT admins can look at all the skills that are submitted for review. And you can imagine, as we mentioned earlier, there can be hundreds and hundreds of skills that people are building. And here, I see support bot, expense tracker, finance procurement. I've got a lot of work to do. I have to review all of them, and I have to make sure that they work and then approve them or reject them. So I'm going to look at the support bot. And I can see the information that Ifrit submitted about the bot. I can see which platform it is supported. All the metadata that developer really had is going to be here. Is this enough? Is this complete? I don't think so. It's just the beginning. As I said, we are just getting started on this journey. It's a beginning where we think that this much information would be necessary. Would it be sufficient? Is something that we'll learn together. And now, as an IT admin, I can approve the skill. I can reject the skill. When I approve it, what will happen is the skill will get deployed, Cortana skill will get deployed to everybody within my organization. If they log into Cortana using their AD, they'll be able to use the skill. If I reject it, I will get an option to say, provide comments, like why am I rejecting, on what grounds am I rejecting? Hey, this skill is not functional. You don't have enough description. Or I couldn't test your skill. Or you have not provided the support email or support URL for the skill. There are some required fields and optional fields there. So depending on what are the reasons or the grounds, or it doesn't meet company policies. So based on those requirements, I can approve or reject it. If I reject it, I'll provide comments, and then they will get to the developer who can, again, fix those issues in the skill, and then submit it for review again. And then we'll go through the whole process again. And once a skill is approved and is deployed, and if we run into issues, so imagine and this is software, right? This is cloud-based software. It's service. There is a service backend. It can happen that service goes down, or there is a bug in the skill, right? And in that case, IT admin should be able to quickly pause a skill or deactivate a skill, a deployed skill. So support skill would just work fine. That's what we expect, but there are bugs. And if that happens, or if service goes down, then IT admin can be informed, and IT admin can then pause it or deactivate it, so that as soon as they take that action, nobody within the organization can use the skill or run into issues while they're using the skill. So what we just saw, a quick recap of that, is IT admin can now log into IT admin portal with Azure Active Directory. They can view the list of all the skills. They can review all the skills that are submitted for tenant deployment. And even if they're deployed and they're working fine, they still have that list there with all the status about it. They can approve the skill for tenant deployment. They can reject the skill with comments, and it gets back to the developer. And they can deactivate a published skill. Now we covered the second role, the second important role in this journey of stakeholders. Let's look at the user journey of how when the support skill, I as an IT admin just approved it, so.
You approved it.
Thank you. So I as an IT admin just approved it. So users within my organization should be able to use it. Ifrit is also a user within the organization. I am a user, and all of us are. So Ifrit should be able to use the skill by going to Cortana on Windows with Azure AD account, logging into Cortana with Azure AD account. She can invoke the skills deployed to the tenant. She can use natural language to trigger the skill, and she can connect or disconnect from the skill. Let's take a look at day in life of a busy professional and how Ifrit's skill, the support skill, apparently, how it can help a busy professional like us throughout our busy day and help us focus on things that matter the most. So we're going to switch to Ifrit's machine right now because that has Cortana running. And now she can just use, as an enterprise user, the skill she built. And walk through a couple of scenarios, the daily life scenarios that she will have.
Okay, so first of all, I'm signed in to Cortana again with my AAD account. So here you can see the same AAD account that I just created my bot with. And imagine to yourself that I came back from a long vacation, and for some reason, I can't send email. So now I can easily ask for an help, invoking my skill. Ask support. I can't send email. It invokes my skill.
I found these articles for you. Would you like to chat with a live agent or open a ticket?
In this case, I want to chat with the live agent to get my problem fixed. So I will choose chat with an agent. I either speak or choose the option. Both ways are working.
Okay.
And as you can
I'll
see,
open up a chat with a
a
live
live
agent now.
agent just reached out to me, and I can start chat with him. How awesome is it?
So what just happened? There are a couple of things that happened, really, right? You were asking for help for emails, and then the skill showed a bunch of KB articles, knowledge-based articles. She could just click on those links and get her problem fixed. But Ifrit wanted a real quick action to be taken to connect to a live agent. And as soon as she said that, a live agent reached out to her. There was one another option on that screen. That was create a support ticket. I don't want to deal with it right now. Let me just create a support ticket and let support help me with that, figure it out, and I'll deal with it later. So there were a lot of rich functionalities in that response. You had KB articles, knowledge-based articles. You had an option to connect with the live agent. You had an option to file a support ticket.
Right. So, and now I had to run to a really important meeting, and I just realized the projector doesn't work. So again, I can
It's a huge
easily,
problem.
what?
That's a huge problem.
Yeah, this is a huge problem, and I want it to get fixed as soon as possible. So I will invoke my skill, asking again for an help. Ask support. I'm having an issue with the projector.
Are you looking for assistance for a meeting room?
Yes.
Is that for your current meeting room or a different location?
Look how awesome it is. It extracted my current meeting location using MS Graph. And yes, she is correct, and this is my current meeting.
Do you want to open a live chat or in-person help?
In this case, I want a real person to show up and fix my projector, right? So I will choose in-person help.
This is urgent help.
Okay, I've informed your on-site technician. Your help is on the way.
I have all the information about the ticket that was open for this issue. I have the contact guy that will show up in the room to fix the projector. So I can call him, I can do a lot of stuff.
And if he doesn't show up,
If he
you
doesn't
chase
show up,
him,
yeah.
because you know his name.
Exactly. And he will have a problem with me. And before we ended our day, we had a birthday party, and cake fell on the floor.
Oh, man.
So guess what? I'm just asked to get my clean office.
How many of you know how to get your office clean?
Yeah.
Like, on top of your mind, like, oh, I know how to get it clean. What would you do if you had to get your office clean? You'd go to articles, figure out on the internet?
No, I
But
just
Ifrit doesn't have time for that. So she's just going to use the support skill.
ask support to get my office clean.
Sure, I can help with that. Is this the right office number?
And again, it can recognize my office. And yes, it is. Yes.
Okay, just to confirm. You would like to schedule a vacuum in the office. Is there anything else?
No, thanks.
Okay, I've scheduled that.
That's it. And now I will get my office clean.
Awesome. That's great. We'll go to 5. What you just saw is a day in life of a busy professional who's having a lot of issues. And Cortana is helping them throughout their day, making them more productive, helping them getting things done that matter them the most. This skill, the support skill that we just showed you, is a real skill, built by Microsoft IT. It's known as Microsoft CSE now, but I think you can recognize Microsoft IT. There's a department in Microsoft that built this support skill for Microsoft employees. Ifrat worked on the skill with them. And this was our very first proof of concept kind of thing for this platform to do. Microsoft employees can leverage internal tools, like what you just saw. They can leverage internal tools for facilities requests, technical help, use knowledge base articles, and leverage the power of Microsoft Graph in all the skill scenarios. And that's not it. That's just one of the examples. The possibilities are endless for domains ranging from travel tools to finance reporting. You can have finance reporting done through it. For finance people, you can have persona-based skills. For finance people, for people in HR, for end users who use HR services, for making legal workflows simple. There was this one skill that we were talking about in order to figure out how can I get some sort of trademark done or trademark certification done using natural language and provide inputs. Make intelligent help desk, and so on. I want to show you another quick example of how a sales skill can help a salesperson throughout their day. You can switch to your machine. So we just saw support, and we talked about the domains that the Cortana skills can help you. Here is an example, a quick example, and some of you might have seen it during the keynote, Ignite keynote. The end of the quarter is approaching, and I really want to get the deals that are at risk mitigated. I'm a salesperson. This is a skill for a sales persona. And I want to quickly get to the data, take actions on the skill, find an expert, mitigate the risk. So I'm just going to ask Cortana. Ask sales agent to show deals at risk.
Here are 3 deals that look like they are at risk.
So what this sales skill just did, it used Dynamic CRM APIs, fetched the data from Dynamic CRM, rather than me having to go to a separate dashboard to figure out which deals are at risk, or go through the data and figure out which are the deals, what is the revenue in them, what is the risk percentage, and those kind of things. I could just see it right here. The first one seems like has the highest revenue potential of 1.43 million and a very high risk percentage. So I'm just going to find an expert to help me with that deal. Find an expert for first deal. Let me try that again. Ask sales agent to show deals at risk. This skill is definitely not ready for deployment to organization. And that's
Here are 3 deals that look like they are at risk.
So I can find the expert for the first one.
I found 3 in-house experts.
And again,
Michael
it used the
seems
power
like
of
the
dynamic.
best fit. He's landed 17 similar deals in IoT. Would you like me to schedule time with him?
Cortana was speaking. I got it. Michael is the guy. And so it again used the power of Dynamic CRM, found the expert in that area, found data about them, and I can just schedule time with Michael. So I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Here are 2 mutually available times.
And what is more
Which would
interesting
you
is
prefer?
I didn't have to fire up my Outlook to find a time that works for me and Michael. The skill just used Microsoft Graph APIs. It can use your internal tools and APIs, and found the time that works for both me and Michael. Since I'm in building 2, bit partial to that, so I'm just going to pick that one up. And schedule time with Michael.
Great. I've booked time with Michael.
And voila, I have a meeting scheduled with Michael, a time of my convenience, a building of my own convenience, and I didn't have to fire up Outlook to do anything. Cortana just sent the meeting invite to both of us, and we have the meeting set up to mitigate this deal. So we saw sales, we saw support. You can imagine all the other scenarios, smart building, where you can find if you're talking to somebody, if you want to find where they're sitting, and build on top of the power of the platform. With Cortana Skills Kit for enterprise, enterprises can now extend Cortana's capabilities to make information retrieval an easier task and more efficient. You're just searching. You're searching using natural language, things that are specific to your organization. To enable seamless task completion, Ifrit was able to get help for fixing a conference room projector, get that task completed, or chat with an agent, or file a support ticket. She was able to complete a certain task in a very seamless way. And all this is very important for organizations to help employees, to make them more productive, to help them focus on things that matter them the most. And that's what we care about. We are on this journey. We just launched this skills kit, and we are in learning mode. As Satya says, don't be know-it-all, be it learn-it-all. So we are in this learning mode. During this conference at our booth in Cortana, we have learned so much from you. Thank you. The unique ways you have inspired us to think about scenarios and features and the possibilities of what can be created with this powerful platform to extend Cortana has been truly amazing. Right now, with Cortana Skills Kit for Enterprise, we are in invitation-only mode. But we invite you to sign up for interest in our private preview so that you can be in the close set of people that are in the know-how, that know the news, that know what's happening for Cortana Skills Kit for Enterprise. You are a close group of people whom we will send emails and updates about what's happening and eventually help you participate in the program to make you part of the program. You can go to this link, aka.ms/Cortana for Enterprise on your smartphones, or we have a booth set up here to fill up the form. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we can take questions now on either of these three mics, if there are any questions.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, I've got three questions, so I'll
Sure.
do one and then I'll go
Okay.
back in line. The start button, when you clicked it up and you started talking to Cortana, and the response, the visual response, were those adaptive cards?
Yes. So in the support skill, as well as in the sales skill, you saw adaptive cards coming through.
And follow up to that from a visual perspective, is there any plans or thoughts around a larger visual? So you've got the little start box that comes up, and when the response is there, is there any thoughts about having Cortana actually expand into a larger screen space for different form factors?
That's a very interesting thought. So Cortana is going to be, so we are starting with Windows desktop as the endpoint. Cortana is going to be available on many more devices. Cortana Skills Kit for Enterprise is going to be available for many more devices like phone, speaker, and other form factors. Right now, we are just starting with Windows and the start thing.
Great, thank you.
Great questions, thank you.
Hey.
You might want to repeat the question.
Okay. Well, my question is, you mentioned that the user has to be logged into the Azure AD. Do they have to have Azure AD?
So the question is that does the user need to be logged into Cortana with their Azure AD account? And the answer to that question is yes, because we want to make sure that organizations, when they deploy these Cortana skills, only their employees get access, their workforce, people within their organization get access to it. And Azure AD is the fantastic way to manage that. So yes, we do require them to log in with Azure AD account.
Okay.
I think you may have already answered my question a moment ago, but I have one of the Harman Kardon Invoke Cortana Smart Speakers. So is it true that today you can't log into that with your work account, but that's coming maybe in the future?
So that's a great question. So the question is, I have Harman Kardon Invoke speaker. I can't log in using my Azure AD account in that. Is that coming? For Cortana Skills Kit for Enterprise, we are starting with Windows 10. And yes, we will expand it to more endpoints in future.
Thank you.
From a user experience perspective, one of the things at the end that I found was interesting was I've done a lot of bot development. It's very easy for bots to send a lot of responses back, and in text, it's very easy to just listen and you're going. When it's spoken, you were interrupted a couple of times. Assuming that technology catches up and things like far-field mics are in our laptops and our phones on a regular basis, so we're not pushing the microphone button anymore, we're actually talking. Are you going to be working on things like making sure to have the bot stop talking if the user starts to talk, things like that?
Yes. So the question is that when you are conversing with skills in a very natural way, and they're talking, so sometimes we interrupt each other, and that's a question. Sometimes we interrupt each other. Can we interrupt these skills while they are talking so that we can barge in and talk to them? Yes, that's something that we have been working on.
Great.
Yeah.
Final.
And for this particular scenario, you could just have had Cortana go in listening mode right after that response, so I need not click on that microphone. I just made it that way because sometimes there is a noisy environment, and I just want to make sure that Cortana is hearing me right.
And that's the bot doing that,
What?
putting it in listening mode.
Yes.
You can also like click on the button and interrupt Cortana, and it will go to the next step.
Last little technical question on the bot framework side. What is the time thresholds for the bot to be able to respond? So since it's an async relationship and the bot pushes messages out that then Cortana speaks, how long can the bot do work and still be able to talk back?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
So
Got it.
So the question was, okay.
So you can keep your session alive with sending immediate messages to such. Oh, I'm still working on it this week.
Do those have to be audio messages or can they be just simple events?
You have control over what is spoken and what is just text.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you.
And you can keep the session alive as long as you want. Just you have to.
Really small follow-up to that. If the 15 seconds does happen and it does time out, is it a whole new conversation? Is it, from a bot framework perspective, if it times out and then the user re-engages, is that a whole new conversation?
Can we take that offline? I'll just
Thank you very much.
get to the next person. Yes.
Hi, this is regarding the first example of the email not working.
Yeah.
So one of the examples was to open a ticket. Could the bot be set in such a way that if, say, the default way of opening a ticket was through email, if it recognized the fact that the email was the thing that wasn't working, that it would open it through another channel?
So can you repeat that question again?
Sure.
Not
So
sure if I got that.
the first example of using the help desk was my email isn't working.
Yep.
And one of the options was to open a ticket. If the default way of opening a ticket, say for other things, is to send an email to the ticketing system, can it parse the information? Can the bot be set to parse the information to use some other way of opening a ticket?
Absolutely.
Opening a ticket, you can use a resource from your internal organization for opening a ticket. It's not mandatory to be like sending an email. There can be other options for opening a ticket because currently you cannot send email, right?
Right.
So there are several options depending on your organization of how you can open a ticket.
So the information that you would be providing to the bot could then decide the direction of
Fair.
follow-up information.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
Other questions? Yes, please.
What ticketing systems is that bot compatible with? Like we're running ServiceNow, for example.
So-
can it send a ticket to ServiceNow? Or
This one is hooked up with our internal tools and APIs. You can connect it to any number of services or APIs, external third party like ServiceNow or anything. You would just put it in your bot logic, and you would make a REST call or any other kind of call to the endpoint and then get that response.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.